Shalom, my name is Alinda Damsma and I teach beginners and intermediate biblical Hebrew in the Department of Hebrew and Jewish Studies at University College London. In this video, I will tell you all about the beginners biblical Hebrew module that I teach. Learning the language of the Bible is a very exciting and rewarding journey that will give you direct access to the source text of the Bible. Many prospective students, they are a little bit worried when they think about the study of a new language, as they may have no or limited experiences with the study of another language, and words such as syntax and grammar, they may sound a bit frightening. Please know that it's no obstacle whatsoever if you have no or limited knowledge of the study of another language. Step by step, you will be guided through the basics of biblical Hebrew, and you will certainly not be thrown in the deep end. Of course, you have to put in the effort, but the sense of achievement is amazing. Another obstacle that students might worry about is if they have a learning difficulty, for instance, dyslexia. They may worry that that will hinder their progress in biblical Hebrew. Again, this should not deter you from learning biblical Hebrew. Your teacher and the department and UCL in general will give you all the support that is needed. So nothing should deter you from learning biblical Hebrew. Why is it so useful to have direct access to the Hebrew Bible itself? Well, no translation so far has managed to convey the essence of the Hebrew Bible. Therefore, having direct access to the source text will give you a critical eye for translation. And let me give you a few examples of that. So as I said, let me give you a few examples. In the book of Genesis, in chapter 22, we find a story that is called The Binding of Isaac. It is a literary masterpiece with very clever narrative techniques. In the story, we read that once patriarch Abraham, and here you can see him on the screen, when Abraham finally has his wished-for child, and that is his son Isaac, he's now ordered by God to sacrifice his son. At first sight, this test seems to be about whether Abraham is obedient to God and will indeed sacrifice the boy. However, when you know the Hebrew language, you will discover that the test might be about something different. Yes, Abraham's faith is being tested, but in a different manner. In a sense, Abraham has already passed the test well before he's going to bind Isaac on the makeshift altar. He trusts that God will intervene and that the sacrifice of his beloved son will not happen. How? Well, before he goes up the mountain with Isaac, Abraham orders his servants, and here they are, to stay behind with the donkey. He tells them to wait until he and Isaac will be back. The verbal form that Abraham uses is nashuva, we will return. And this verbal form is much stronger than the regular form, nashuv, we will return. Nashuv has a far less emphasis on the definiteness of the action. However, the stronger form, nashuva, we will return, cannot be easily conveyed in translations. So that subtle nuance, but very important nuance, gets lost in the translation. Another famous passage is the story about Joseph and his jealous brothers, which we find in Genesis 37. Ultimately, Joseph is thrown into the well by his brothers and later sold as a slave. At the beginning of the story, we read that Joseph, his father, Jacob, has a special coat made for Joseph. Traditionally, this coat has been understood as a multicolored coat, just like the one you see on the screen. However, you may be surprised that the source text, so the actual Hebrew text, does not speak about a multicolored coat, but about a coat, a robe that reaches all the way to the hands and to the soles of the feet. So it is a long-sleeved coat. Interestingly, the words that are used to describe Joseph, his coat, are also used to describe the coat that Tamar is wearing. And Tamar is the daughter of King David, whom we meet later on in the Hebrew Bible. So exactly the same words are used to describe her coat. So it's basically a royal robe that Joseph is wearing. And now we understand even better why Joseph's brothers are so jealous of him. Because of that robe, he cannot do heavy manual labor, because in that climate and in that time, it would have been very difficult to carry out heavy manual labor wearing such a long-sleeved coat. How then did the idea arise that he was wearing a multicolored coat? Well, sorry. In Hebrew, the word that is used for the palm of the hand or the sole of the foot, the coat is reaching until the palm of the hand and the sole of the foot. The word is pas, pas. In Aramaic, which is a language that is very close to Hebrew, the same word, so it's spelled in the same way, means stripe. So in the ancient versions of the Hebrew Bible, the coat was interpreted as a striped coat, which gave way to the idea of Joseph wearing a multicolored coat. I hope these examples have shown that crucial aspects of a Hebrew text can get lost in translation. Moreover, knowing biblical Hebrew not only provides you with a critical eye for translation, but it also opens up a portal to ancient Judaism and ancient Israel. And it puts you into a conversation with a myriad of cultures and communities from antiquity and beyond. So it opens up the sacred ancient texts of the Bible. They are full of poetry, prophecy, law, history, and wisdom. It will deepen your appreciation for the theological and literary depths of the Hebrew Bible. And now on to the more practical side of this module. The module is worth 30 credits and it's taught over 2 terms. If you are an affiliate student, the module is worth 15 credits. We meet online twice a week and each lesson lasts 2 hours. The lesson is divided in different sections and there is plenty of emphasis on interactive learning. The module does not require any pre-knowledge of Hebrew and it will be taught in a lively and enjoyable manner. We use a great textbook, which you can see here on the screen, which contains authentic biblical texts. It gives you all the help with learning vocabulary and grammar. And the textbook also comes with many online learning aids, such as audio files. Mm-hmm. The textbook also features a very funny and clever horse, which will help you to learn Biblical Hebrew. By the end of the first year, you will have acquired a solid grounding in Biblical Hebrew grammar and vocabulary, and you will have read an extensive range of fascinating biblical stories. We start with the creation story, and we move on to some of the best-known biblical stories, such as the story about the flood, the Tower of Babel, the patriarchs, the Exodus from Egypt. We're going to read about the antics of Samson the judge, and we're going to encounter the prophet Samuel and King David, etc. If you have any questions about the module, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. You can see my email address here on the screen, and so feel free to send me an email with any questions you might have about the module. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my beginners class. Bye-bye.